Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We are here today to talk about last night's Rager in Kansas City. We are joined by a couple of guests, just me from the pod today, but luckily we've got our intern secretary, Shawnee Mack, here reporting live from the KC airport, and good friend of the pod, Brad Solari, who I just said he and I were texting a good amount during the show last night, and he was top of mind when I was like, we need an extra guest today, like, because he's got lots of opinions, and if you're not one of the three people on Mastodon, you're not seeing them. So, gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm at the Kansas City airport sitting in a restaurant. But just to, I'm the senior executive producer at the AAT interns.
Oh, my bad.
Just so you know.
Sorry for getting the title wrong.
Get the title right. Come on. No, everything's great. It was an amazing show coming off a great night, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Brad, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me on, and I will gladly try to share some opinions. Sometimes a little constructive criticism is okay, and
absolutely.
And it's not all going to be that, because there's going to be plenty of good things coming out of my mouth too. So
amazing. All right, well, Shawnee, since you were at the show last night, let's start with you. Tell us about getting into the venue, where you ended up, pre-show vibes, because I could see you a little bit on the webcast last night. You're quite the spot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going to end up. I had floor tickets, and originally I bought two because Josh and I were supposed to go together, but he couldn't make it. So yesterday I realized I had an extra ticket, threw it out there. Yeah. And Working Man's Matt was like, hey, dude, I need a ticket. So I've met him once, the Cap, for a Ray-Below. So I met him and Casey and Corey, who I hadn't met before either. We did a little pre-gaming at a bar, and
shout out.
Then we walked in. I don't remember the name of the bar. We walked in. We found out Matt had figured out, like, there's a bar that's connected to the venue, and so people were lined up around the sidewalk in front of this bar entrance. So we just kind of cruised right in, and they did our ticket scan and everything right there, metal detector, boom, in. And then we had a drink, and then went right into the venue. So we skipped like a huge GA line. So that's how I got up pretty close. We were like, yeah, I didn't even know. So that was cool. So vibes were really high getting in. I mean, it was easy. The security was simple. Missouri's pretty lax on everything, I found out. So anyways, it's like
a surprise.
California. Yeah. So walked in, and the venue was like, it kept stepping down as you went down. So there's all these different rails as you got closer to the full floor. And so I was, I think, 4 people back, right in front of Rick. And I'd also bought a cheap balcony ticket in case my old ass wanted to sit down, but I didn't leave. It was a pretty good spot.
Smart contingency plan. Always good.
$20, whatever. It was worth
it. Exactly. Brad, you were on the couch last night. You've been keeping up with all the shows on this tour so far?
For sure. I've for the 3 people, like you said, on Mastodon, I've got to keep the set list. It's a community. Even for the smaller community, I got to make sure everybody's in tune with what's going on. So yeah, I was chilling, had a couple beers, and just chilled on my couch, had everything accessible, and it was easy peasy.
Yeah, and for the first time, I think, in the band's history, Goose went on right at ticket time.
Yeah,
dude,
it was unbelievable.
I was like, are you sure?
Why isn't anyone talking about this? Like,
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Be like, was that a 7? Like, I clicked on my shit, and it was like on, and then it was on. I was like, what? I thought I had.
At like 7:59, I went on Nugs, and it was already live, and I was like, oh great. Then I clicked on it, and I was like folding laundry, expecting that I had like 25 minutes, and then suddenly the stream started. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What was the reaction in the venue, Shawnee? Were people ready
shocked.
At all?
No, I looked at my watch. It was literally 8 p.m. and I was like, all right, so we probably have like 25 minutes. And then the lights went down, and I was like, are you serious? Like, I had no idea. Like, we looked at each other and we were like, cool. Maybe we'll get more Goose, but I think they did end like kind of early, like 11:30.
Yeah. I mean, we got a very good length of show. Like it wasn't like,
Yeah.
they started early so they could play for less time. Like, and it wasn't because they had an early curfew. Because curfew was midnight at this venue. So I was expecting them to even start, a little bit later. I'm not sure if they were worried about the long drive to Indy or whatever, but like, I'm a fan, especially, we talked about yesterday, especially with some very early curfews coming up later in the tour. I like that they're setting a precedent here. Like if we see like at Westville, they go on at 6:30, I'm very in, so hopefully this sticks around. But this was a surprise. And so did you feel as though like a lot of people like rushed to get ready and get back to their spots as they started Butterflies here? Johnny, you're on mute.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry. No, I think it, like you said, it took everyone by surprise, pleasant surprise, right? And the band actually came out like they had like Peter and Rick both had this like shit-eating grins on their face, like ha ha ha, look what we're doing, we're coming out on time.
Yeah,
we were all like what? So yeah, it was a great start, and I was excited. It was like, dude, they're not going to cut any songs. Like hopefully, I haven't seen the actual set list. I don't know if anyone saw.
If I have either.
Cut anything? Yeah, I tried to get one, but I wasn't successful. So I don't know. Hopefully, they didn't cut anything. I mean, it was. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the beginning of the show here. We've got first few songs: Butterflies, Lead the Way, Flow Down. Shawnee, what did you think of these first part of the first set?
Butterflies. I love that song. It's I was hoping for Elizabeth, but it was another Peter song that I haven't played yet. Taught her. So as far as I know, I don't think they played that one yet. I loved it. I love that song. I love when Rick was down on his pedals towards the end, like doing his little thing with making all those cool sounds. And when they were finishing the song, like Rick was sitting there just looking at Cotter and just like this smile, and they were just vibing and jamming like to finish the song. Like I don't know, I love to see that. Like they're having so much fun together. And
right.
That was awesome. They were locked in, and that was the first song. So I was like, okay, this is going to be phenomenal. So great song. I love it.
Awesome. Brad, what are your thoughts on the beginning of the show here?
I mean, it was good, man. I've kind of been I was waiting for Butterflies to come back because I don't think it's been played since probably like mid-Europe tour.
Yep. At least. Yeah, hasn't been played since, I believe it was Thekla.
Okay. Yeah. So I was like,
played on the boat.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was waiting for it to come back, and I think it's a good opener. Like it's a good song to get people, settled in, got a nice little solo at the end. If you're still like getting to your seat, you can rock out to it a little bit as you're on your way in. So yeah, like I'm cool with, I actually like when it comes to like the Peter tunes, like in that format, I like Butterflies better than Whales myself.
Yeah.
So, and they're kind of similar. They have that similar vibe. So
sure. And I mean, I love a Butterflies opener as well. There was a little bit of a different kind of rework in the middle or the entrance to the jam than we've heard before. I think, kind of hinted at like, we always talk about, I think every time they play Butterflies, we talk about like they should jam this out. And they should. And it seems as though we might, I don't know, they might be giving an inkling that we can head in that direction. And speaking of dogs, Lead the Way is next.
Yep.
Was that you've got props for the pod?
Called Segway.
Yeah, that was great. This Lead the Way is excellent. Incredible. Love the organ work from Peter here. This was typically a song with him on guitar, at least for the song part. And so I think this is only a second version of him with him fully on keys. And I loved the organ tone that he used last night. I thought it sounded great. And then some gorgeous vintage vibe and OB6 work from him on the jam. But Sean, we have reports from the chat that you cried during Lead the Way.
100%. It's always a crying song for me. It makes me think of my dog, obviously, and my mom, and I got some hugs from everyone there, so it was needed. I let it out. I pay attention more to Rick's guitar on that than Peter, just because I'm a guitar guy. But just their blissy lead the way jam that I love since the first show I saw first time I saw Goose. They played the song. I didn't even know it. I cried. So like it means a lot more to me now. I was there. I was in the moment. I was with my Goose family. It was phenomenal. It was great. It's a good way to and shout out to John Mayer, who's like, I hope you get a lead the way tonight. So John, if you're listening or watching, we got it, man. So
shout out. Awesome. Brad, your thoughts on this lead the way?
As you can tell, I love anytime. It kind of seems like a rare tune these days. So like anytime you can get one, and I do prefer it kind of like in that 2-3 slot area in the like in the first set. So I just I got 4 dogs. I love dogs. Any song about dogs is great, man. So and yeah, I thought about Sean as well. Condolences again, buddy. Like about your mother. Not to bring it up on here, but that's some hardcore stuff to have to deal with. So much.
Thanks, man. And I know that me, you, and John have had like I think 2 lead the ways together last year. So it's
including Encore. I think Ryan was there for that.
Yeah, in Boise and then at the Warfield. Yeah, I was there for both of those. The Boise one was
Boise,
big.
Eugene wasn't Eugene?
No, it was Boise.
No, it was Boise. It was a bust down.
40 show gap on that one. Anyway, next up we get a very different flow down. This is not a flow down intro like you've ever heard a flow down intro before. It got a little darker, Cotter switching up the beat a little bit, so it's not just straight ahead flow down. I thought this was great. If you're gonna play flow down, this is how I want to hear it. I want to hear them do something new with it, something interesting. How did this feel in the room, Sean? Was there like, was there like a vibe like, oh, this is different, or was it just like, flow down?
It was definitely different. Like in my mind, we're like, what is this? This is really dark. But like everyone on the like people in front of me were like pogoing, right? Like they were excited for this to start, and it was so long, intro. And then I was like, maybe they're not. Maybe they're going to change. Maybe they won't do flow down, but it had to be. And then of course they went into it. So it's not my favorite Goose song, but it was pretty awesome. And the beginning it was different. And we haven't really talked about it. I'm just gonna say it now, like Cotter, and I was at the St. Louis shows and I was pretty far back, but being that up close and able to see Cotter like in real time, like dude, he's elevated his band beyond.
Yeah.
So and so his intro on that was great, and the song was it's flow down, but the intro was awesome. I loved it, and everyone loved it, and that was there.
Brad.
Well,
anything to add? Yeah.
No, I mean, it was, I took me a minute to go, wait, is this possibly like a different tune? And then I had to, it started, like you said, it had a little bit darker tone to it, a little bit different, but, when it comes down to it, it's flow down, and it's kind of not my favorite slot for a flow down in the 3 slot. Like I was kind of hoping for, I don't know, just something a little bit more jammy at that point, but
luckily we got that next.
Well, yes. And I was going to say, and luckily, I think probably you too, I picked it pretty high in fantasy. So I was like, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. Flow down
you picked that one? Okay. Good.
Easiest 800 of the tour, some might say.
Yeah.
I want to say, I forgot to mention, I was looking at my notes, like, and you can see it if you go back and watch the stream, but like Cotter, when he was playing like the rims of the drums, he was having so much fun. He just looked so happy.
That's awesome.
I don't know. That was something that stuck out.
Because that's where I feel like he really fucked time. But yeah, started off.
Say that again, Brad?
No, I was going to say, let's talk about Cotter more in the next jam, because that's
perfect.
Billy fucking shines.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Next up, we get a rare mid-first set. I feel like rare mid-first set appearance of Inside Out. Love this song. Shout out to Neil, our #1 Spoon fan, who couldn't make it today. So we'll have to do it justice for him, because he would want us to carry the spirit of his love for Spoon. But yeah, love this cover, and this is the longest version they've ever played of Inside Out by a solid 10 minutes. full, just jammed out, crazy, type 2, big peak. Like, this is what you want in a first set jam, 25 minutes, amazing energy. But Shawnee, what was this like in the room last night?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, first of all, I love that song. I sorry to spoon, but I actually think Goose covers it better, plays it better. Shout out to my boy Superman, who loves this song. I think it's his favorite cover, and we caught that one in Spokane last year. But it's my second time seeing this, and like Brad and I were talking earlier today, so he's gonna echo the same stuff. But like, first of all, like when the song ended, I was like, "Wait, what song was that?" That just started. I was like, "What is this?" Because but they were really like, I think Brad and I were talking like, I thought they were going to end it, and then they kind of went into like a second part of the jam, right? Brad chimed in, and then like it was just really good improv. Like it was awesome. Like I didn't know like I said, I didn't know what song it was. It was truly whatever you call that, tier 2 or whatever your term is, Ryan.
Type 2,
whatever. I don't know this shit. I'm still new after 2 years, but it was. I mean, 25 minutes. They've been doing some long jams this tour, and I'm here for it. So
yeah,
everyone was stoked. We were dancing and just vibing. It was great.
Amazing. Brad, what are your thoughts on this Inside Out here?
I got a lot, but I'll try to keep it. I don't have my notes, so like I had a lot of notes on this one because I might be higher on this jam than maybe the rest of the community. I really thought this was like in the moment, and you can shout out to John Mayer again. Like I sent him a text like saying this might be the best spontaneous. I probably sent it to you too, Ryan. The best spontaneous improvisation I've heard them do when they got to that second jam, because I thought the first jam, that was the end. Like, okay, normal spoon or normal Inside Out jam. But then like they slowed it down and took it back up to a whole nother level. And let me start off by saying like one of the reasons I really like this jam is it like Cotter was, I'm not being, I don't want to
Hasty Ranks exposed, Brad. Hasty Ranks exposed by John in the chat. Brad said best jam of tour.
I did. And I'm not going to back down from that, actually, and I'll tell you why. But let me start off by saying one of the reasons I loved it is it started off with that slower tempo, and it really allowed Cotter to really establish a nice groove. And then Rick was playing like these really cool bluesy kind of notes over the top, and Peter was doing his little thing. And it kind of reminded me of one of those Born jams of last year that a lot of people really liked, and especially like the Louisville one. And it was kind of like that nice slow groove. And then like, peaked out. And then, like I said, I thought it was going to end. And then boom, we like go to a whole nother level where Sean, don't want to lose you here, but it kind of felt like mid 90s Tweezer. Like they could have easily started the Tweezer riff, and Rick like CCP'd it like
for a minute. Yeah, they got into that got into that territory. But yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this jam. I felt listening to it and listening back a couple of times today. I felt that this is actually one of the weaker big jams from this tour so far. It felt a lot more in the line of like your average, and by average cookie cutter peak, I mean really awesome peak jam, but it felt more of like something you'd see in like fall 2023 from them, not super deep, especially the second half. I felt that the peak was pretty, them just going for it. But your jam of the year, claim here is it's really something. You really think this is better than the Fiddler's Madhavan and the Cap Drive and all,
You know what? Because on a Madhavan, they're going to go deep. On a Born, it's planned these days when they do a Born jam. And Drive, pretty much you're going to get a jam too. This one, fucking like you had no clue that second jam was coming, and the fucking jam was pure spontaneous. Hit a fucking sick groove. Go back and listen to Cotter's drums around 21 minutes in and tell me that shit isn't fucking sick. And then
it is
peak. That was definitely not average by any means. So yeah, I'll stand on my hasty jam of the year. I haven't gotten to compare it to any of the other ones. I've only gotten to listen to it like twice, bro, but it's fucking sick.
All right. Well, that's
sorry.
No, I love it.
How we can argue.
It definitely everyone in the theater was like, "This is awesome!" Like, what was that?
So we have another friend of the pod, Justin Bruce, in the chat. Has it in his top 3 behind Cap Drive and Fiddler's Madhavan. So you're not alone here, Brad.
Justin and I, we tend to agree a lot. So good dude.
Justin is also one of the 8 people on Mastodon.
Exactly. Good dude, smart dude. Just what I exactly just said. So
yeah.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Moving on, we close out the first set with Fifth of Beethoven and So Ready. Personally, I think the next big step for Goose is Rick figuring out what to do from a big peak in a jam other than end it. I think that needs to happen. That happened in both big jams in this show where it ended on this huge high. Then they hit the last note and finished it. Or in this case, kind of went into Fifth of Beethoven. But I think once, Rick figures out how to come down from a big ending peak and keep going or kind of wash it out, I think that's going to be big for the band.
He could have kept going on that. He could have kept going on that Inside Out, and I wouldn't have complained at all.
Yeah. Fifth of Beethoven was weird placement for me. You usually see this thing like late second set or an encore. So late first set after this big jam, especially after another cover, was interesting. And then So Ready, solid set closer. But Shawnee, what did you guys think of these last 2 songs here?
I mean, Fifth of Beethoven was, to me, it was unexpected. I think that was only the second time I've seen it, and I feel like it was a weird placement as well, right after cover to cover. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But it's a funky little song, They were having fun. They're Rick was clearly in a good mood. What was going on? His facial expressions, Cotter's, they were all, his tongue out, he's laughing, smiling. I think it was a standard Fifth jam, nothing crazy, but fun, and got the crowd, working. So
awesome. Brad, thoughts on the end of the first set here?
So I'm probably again disagreeing with the consensus here, but Fifth of Beethoven for me, I got one at my first show, so maybe that's why in San Francisco 2022, and it this one got into a totally funky groove,
it's what it does.
I think you know what I'm talking about. It has that that 2001-ish kind of thing to it. I don't like the actual theme as much as 2001, but it does have that similar just funky groove going on with lots of clav and lots of cool shit going on. And Trevor was fucking going off. To me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool landing pad from where we were. So I'll take it. Yeah.
There you go. And then So Ready, any thoughts on that? Felt
So solid closer. Not, I'm a slow guy, but as a closer to a set, I think So Ready. I think I actually also got a So Ready closer at my first show or second show. So I think it works in that regard. I'm cool with it, and
yeah. There was a bit of a different pivot into Rick's solo from Peter. Sorry, Shawnee. In last night that we've heard before, little bit of a different move from Cotter, which was cool. But yeah, sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, it's all good. So Ready, I love that song. I think it's a great set closer. For me, it's just weird with the placement where I was standing, but it was really hard to hear Peter's guitar when he was starting doing the solo. It felt like Rick was louder, but when I listened today on the stream, it was mixed fine. So I think it was just where I was in the room. But I love that song. You get guitar solos from both Peter and Rick. Can't go wrong with that. So I love it.
Awesome. And then let's roll right into set break here. Again, pretty short set break. Once again, they are crushing the time management on this tour. What were you guys up to at set break? How was the feeling in the room?
It was great. We didn't move, kind of all just camped. Took turns going to get water and go to the bathroom. So it's pretty, by the way, the venue looks really nice, but I didn't get to really see much of anything. I took some pictures. I didn't go upstairs because, we came in and okay, we're staying here. But yeah, we just hung out, and they did seem to come back quicker than normal. So that was fun. Let's go. Everyone was vibing high.
Amazing. Well, let's roll into set 2 here. Let's keep it going. Rockdale into Dark Horse. Amazing pairing to open the set. Sean, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, Rockdale is always an awesome opener, whether it's second set or beginning of the first set. Like you always want to. I called a Rockdale opener earlier, and it hadn't happened right on this tour, so awesome. Sort of an opener, second set, but the jam was insane. To me, I like that. Sorry, Brad, but I like the Rockdale jam better than the Inside Out jam. It is what it is.
It's those Dragonfly vibes. Shout out to D. But yeah, just like it, similar to the Soulshine soundcheck version, for me, where they're just in that Dragonfly kind of realm, without playing it. Really, really incredible. And this is significant because this is the first jammed out Rockdale we've had in a really long time, and this is the first ever unfinished Rockdale. Which is also pretty significant.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Brad, do you want to talk about it, or you want me to talk about Dark Horse?
Well, you can finish your Dark Horse.
Okay, so Dark Horse, that was a cool transition. Like you said, it had that Dragonfly sort of tease to it. This is only my second Dark Horse, so I was super excited. And shout out to my boy Tyler Gillette, who was there with me, and we caught our first Dark Horse last year at Flagstaff, so we were like 2 for 2. That was pretty cool. I loved hearing both Cotter and Trevor. Like everyone was singing. Like that's awesome. Like
I didn't notice that. That's really cool.
Oh well, watch the stream. But I could hear Cotter singing during the "No, He Won't" part at the end of the that chorus.
Yeah,
love that song. This is great. It's a great thing.
Awesome, Brad. Your thoughts on Rockdale Dark Horse?
Yeah, like you mentioned, man. Like, and we talked about it. Like, I've been waiting. I love Rockdale, but like, it's kind of like if they're gonna hit us over the head with it every 4 shows, I want to hear it go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like 22 vibes where they were like trying some cool things with it.
Yeah.
So I thought second set opener, this could be a good spot for it. And it didn't get like as deep as those versions, but it did. Like I got to listen to that back. That's the other thing, guys. I haven't gotten to listen to much of this show back, so I can't like comment as much as I'd love to. But I just thought like it was definitely, you mentioned the Dragonfly vibes, and it was a really good Rockdale, one of the better Rockdale, probably the best Rockdale, definitely the best Rockdale since Ryman, right? So I'd like to see more of that, in the future, and that another slower groove. Slower grooves are cool. Cotter doesn't always have to go 100 miles an hour, and that's my one issue that I have is, and Adam Gromfin, shout out. We talked about it. Like he tends to take a song and just go one speed, usually 100 miles an hour. I liked how this Rockdale was nice and slow, little, more space for the band to do some cool things behind them. And that's what I also liked about the Inside Out initially too. So, and then the segue was actually really good into Dark Horse. Because I actually texted you thinking, oh shit, we're going to go deep on this Rockdale. And then it pivoted. And, my technicality of saying a key change when I meant transition. I'm a drummer. I don't know the technical shit, but that was you could hear it coming, and it was a really solid transition into Dark Horse. I'm not the biggest Dark Horse guy, but and if they're going to bring it back like this, I'd love to see a jam, kind of like some of those early 22 versions in 21. I haven't heard it jam really since then. So
this one at least had a little bit of a jam, unlike the version they played at the Cap,
right,
which had no jam. So
yeah, you're totally right. So I'll take that.
Can't jam every song, Brad. Otherwise, it's like a 12-hour concert.
You just play less songs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And then from there, we get my personal highlight of the night here, the Hunger Site that comes next. Really just incredible version. First of all, they go out and you have the pretty standard 15 minutes or so of Hunger Site, fiery peak, hard charging, as you said, 100 miles an hour, but you want it to be at this intensity. And what I love about this is Peter does this repeating descending lick for a long time, a big chunk of this jam, but the rest of the band isn't doing it. Trevor kind of hops on for a bit. Rick is just ripping. And I love that Peter is still sticking to this. And then, he's doing it on piano. And then when he switches to organ, he's doing it on organ. And I think it adds a really cool extra dimension, supporting Rick's big solo here, which I love. And then they come down from the peak, hit right into the clav, as we all know, my thing. And just this forceful clav groove. Rick goes to his synth effect. And this is my favorite segment of jamming the whole night. I think just amazing stuff. Aggressive, locked in, incredible. Shawnee, what are your thoughts on this hunger side here?
Yeah, I mean, I got to about the end of Dark Horse today on my re-listen, so I haven't re-listened to the last few songs, but just from being there, I mean, first of all, it was a pleasant surprise to hear hunger side. I don't know, I just wasn't expecting it. Obviously, crowd favorite. Everyone sings along. Everyone's grooving. Like you said, standard hunger site song until they get to the jam, which I love when they jam hunger site. They don't do it all that often, or at least I've seen too many of them. So I loved it. Everyone was happy. Vibes were hot as usual.
Brad, what about you?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying I did love the jam overall. It was my second favorite jam of the night. But I'm going to disagree with you like you disagreed with me, and not just to disagree with you, but because I disagreed with you last night, and that is, and I just re-listened to this jam. That's why I had to take an extra few minutes to re-listen to this jam. The first half of it is just standard one gear Goose, and the second half, I will agree, it goes to another level. That's why I did enjoy it. But I didn't, again, it was just one speed, one gear, 100 miles an hour the whole way, not one switch up in there at all. And it's sometimes you got to just, bring it down for a second and you can bring it back up. And so it doesn't all have to be 100 miles an hour. I just feel like if they continue to go 100 miles an hour like this every show, I don't know if that's sustainable. So, without drugs. So, so let's occasionally you got to slow it down to make these 24, 25-minute jams, 30-minute jams, not make you get sick and tired of doing them because you're fucking tired after doing them. So again, I liked it. It was great. That's my one small complaint with Cotter is he just flails away 90% of the time going 100 miles an hour. And I'd like to see him kind of slow it down here and there and just
flailing. He's not flailing, dude. He's excelling. Come on.
Flailing is good, dude. There's nothing wrong with flailing.
Flailing in a good way. It's a positive flail.
Miles an hour, bro.
Positive flail. That's great. And then we close out the second set here with Western Sun and Hot Tea, and then a Jive 2 encore. Let's go through the rest of the show here. Sean, what did you think of the remainder of the night?
I mean, I was hoping for Western Sun because, again, they hadn't played that. As far as I know, they haven't played with Cotter. I love this song. To me, it was just, for me, it was kind of a standard Western Sun, but Peter shines on the piano on that song. I love that. He's doing that. I love to hear that. Nothing really else stuck out on me. Just watching Cotter play, a little bit of a different vibe on his take on the drums on that, but love that song. And then Hot Tea, that's my second ever Hot Tea after 27 shows. So that to me is
wow, that's impressive.
I know, right? That was when I first started listening to Goose 2 years ago, and it was like 2019 stuff that I was listening to, and that makes me think back to older Goose and when they played that song. I think a lot more. Crowd goes crazy on that one. Everyone loves that song. What do I see here? Cotter, his hi-hat work on that. I don't know. I was focusing on Cotter a lot because I could see a line of sight on him. So I loved it. It's a great. I mean, what a great set closer.
Amazing. It's not an encore, that shit. But we were expecting it last night, I think. Being this far into the tour, and the only two repeats so far have been Rockdale and Hunger Site. So really cool also to see them, go almost 6 shows without repeating a song. I don't think they've ever done 6 in a row before without repeating, and they still haven't. But it shows also with what's still on the table, for tonight, that they could very easily have gone 6 shows without repeating a song. So that's pretty cool. Brad, you got any thoughts on Western Sun Hot Tea here?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my 1-pointer, Western Sun. I've been playing it purposely.
Do you not have tea?
What's that?
Did you not have tea on your
I
picks?
did have tea. I had it.
Oh, okay, good.
Or something like that. But I had a Western Sun, which they hadn't played it yet with Cotter, as far as I know.
Right.
So it was something I was really, and we talked about that. I was like, yeah, this is the first time they played it. So I love that song. So I just been waiting for them to play it with Cotter and just to play it again. And, it's not a song to me. It's a great landing pad. It doesn't need to jam, but man, it sure wouldn't hurt if it did.
I miss the jam every once in a while. You want
hasn't
jam.
Dylan 22, man. That's
a long time.
That was an accident. So anyway,
it's been back. I agree.
Hot tea. I did have that played, and it was kind of a predictable closer, and it was your typical tea closer. I mean, it had a nice little clap set there, but yeah, that was.
Stop fluffing your fantasy Goose picks, Brad. Jesus.
We're gonna keep doing it. That's what we do, and I would just like to take the opportunity to point out that Neil was giving me shit yesterday because I was in 5th. In terms of the pod, I am now ahead of at least him and Jive after last night.
Are you yet?
Suck it, Neil. I don't know. Let me check.
But
shout out to
16 points a night, so you're probably right next. I was like right barely ahead of those guys.
I've not been doing very well, but shout out to hashtag Team Goose Ryan Molnar for getting the golden goose last night. Really well done there. He's been in the chat a little bit. Saw him there.
Wow. Good job, Ryan.
I am. I've got 3 points on you now, Brad.
All right. Well, I'm coming back tonight, man.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see what happens. Tonight is where the fun really begins. Because now there are it's full repeats on the table. Last night you could still predict a bunch of stuff that they hadn't played yet, and there's still a few songs on the table, but now most of the show is going to be coming back around for its second play. So now the spreadsheets have to start doing their work.
With that, can I just say, can we please, and not even for fantasy Goose purposes, man, can we please get a 726 and a Rose with Heart?
I'm looking for the STL.
Those are the shows that I'm not going to be at, Brad. Damn it! I wanted that. I wanted 726 so badly last night.
726 is like top 2 to 3 ballad, and according to Jeff Hill, shout out #1, and Rosewood is arguably their best song. I mean, so maybe they're just saving it, for special occasions. But man, I'd love to hear Rosewood a little more often.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping for STL. We haven't seen How It Ends since the cap. Everything Must Go hasn't been.
We haven't seen yet. Not Alone. Not Alone was on my pick list on my.
Not Alone doesn't get played enough. It hasn't been played since I think Milwaukee, or whenever it was last fall. It's been way too long. But we also didn't finish talking about this show. And this incredible encore. Love to see Jive 2 in the encore slot. How did this go over as the encore last night, Sean?
Oh man, everyone was psyched, and shout out to Jive 1, Adam. Sorry, buddy, I know you wanted it tonight in Indy, but we got it last night. So, I mean, how do you not like any of the Jives, right? I mean, just a little bit goes a long way. Come on, what a song! What a great way to end. Everyone was. To quote the interns, the vibes were high on the end, and we loved it. It was a great ending.
Amazing.
I don't even have notes. I don't have notes on it. I stopped at Hunger Say or a hot tea. So I don't know. I loved it. It was a great way. I didn't want the song. I was hoping because they started on time. I'm like, maybe they'll do a 2-song encore.
Right.
And I was really hoping for something else, but no. But it's okay. I'm satisfied with it. Great way to end the show. I think we were done at like 11:30.
Yeah, great time. I think it was like 11:15 even.
Yeah, super early.
Great time.
So anyways, loved it. Everyone loved it. Brad?
Amazing.
So I got to ask, Sean, what were you hoping for?
I don't know, man.
Another song.
726, actually.
Yeah.
726.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they've done 726 as an encore before. haven't
Oh
they?
yeah, it's a great encore pick.
I
Love
figured
that as an encore.
but not Rosewood. Did they do Rosewood as encore?
No, you need your big second set Rosewoods.
Okay.
I think. But
Anyways,
yeah,
I was happy with it.
I thought
so
they were in the 2 slot last night, but it didn't happen. So
what did you think of the 2 slot?
what's that?
What did you say? Sorry, you cut.
I
cut out for a
thought maybe we would get the Rosewood in the 2 slot last night.
second.
But after the Rockdale. But hey, it's good. We'll get it tonight. I'm confident.
I think so too. Tonight, Goose is playing in Indy in just a few hours. We are back on Eastern time. Finally, very exciting. Getty or both Gettys, their hometown show. Very exciting. Will we see me and Julio tonight? Has been played since they were last in Indy 2 years ago to the day. So it might happen. It could happen. But it's going to be a fun show. Showtime is 7:30. So be ready because they might go on right at 7:30 tonight. And they also might not. You never know.
Hey, before we go, Brian, because I'm part of the interns, I want to give a shout out to some people I met last night.
Yes.
Zach Straw. He saw me out on the street and said hi. He's a Twitter guy. First time I meet him. So, hey, dude, if you're watching, nice to meet you. And also Lucas from Wisconsin. I think he's a pretty new guy on Twitter, and he's very vibey, and he was on his way to Indy. So nice to meet you, dude. Forgot to get a picture, but we'll do it next time. Anyways,
Awesome.
That's it.
Last thing for me is I actually didn't get to comment on Jive 2, which
Oh,
was
sorry. Yes.
I was just going to agree that
Not allowed.
it was an amazing version of Jive 2, and I it's kind of like, I don't know, is that common as an encore? Did we talk about this?
It's been an encore a few times. Let me see exactly how many times. It has been an encore 4 times.
Okay.
Most recently, Las Vegas 2022. All 3 of those were in.
I was there. Of course, I should know that. Okay.
Slacker.
Yeah. Well, no, because I think they did the trifecta that night, or the Jivefecta or whatever. But yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. No, I just wanted to say that was a fucking great like, it stood out to me. It's one of those like Jive 2s that, like, when you're listening to it and you're like trying to get your last minute set list together and hearing it in the background, it's like, oh shit, I gotta pay attention to this. This is good. So yeah, good version. So
amazing. Well, thank you both for joining me today. Thank you for coming on the pod. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And thank you everybody for tuning in to today's Day After show. We will see you tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. Neil and I will be together, which is very exciting, to recap tonight in Indy. We've got some good friends at the show. It's going to be a good one. And we will see you out there. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.